Good morning students. Myself is Dr. Peenal Shah. Today I am taking a talk on inflammation. What is inflammation? It is defined as a local response of living mammalian tissue to injury due to any agent. It is a body defense reaction in order to eliminate or limit the spread of injurious agent, followed by removal of necrosed cells and tissue. Which are the agents causing inflammation? Mostly it is commonly caused by infective agents like bacteria, virus and other toxins. Immunological agent like cell mediated or antigen antibody reaction. Physical agents like heat, cold, radiation or any traumatic agent. Chemical agents like organic and inorganic poisons, and inert materials such as foreign bodies. Now coming to the signs of inflammation, the Roman writer Celsius has given the 4 cardinal signs of inflammation, which include rubor. Rubor means redness, tumor means swelling, calor means heat, and dolor means pain. And lastly, the 5th sign was added by a virtue, that is a functiolacia, means loss of function of that part. Now coming to acute inflammation, it is of shorter duration, lasting for less than 2 weeks. It represents the early body reaction. The main features of acute inflammation are accumulation of fluid in plasma at affected site, intravascular activation of platelet, polymorphonuclear neutrophils as inflammatory cells, and sometimes acute inflammatory response may be severe and termed as a fulminant acute inflammation. Chronic inflammation, it is of longer duration and occurs after the persistence of inflammatory agent for a long time. One variant is a chronic active inflammation. It is a type of chronic inflammation in which during the course of disease there are acute exacerbation of activity. The characteristic feature of chronic inflammation is presence of chronic inflammatory cells such as a lymphocyte, plasma cells, macrophages, granulation tissue formation in specific situation as a granulomatous inflammation. Acute inflammatory response by the host to any agent is a continuous process, but for the purpose of discussion, it is divided into 2 events. One is a vascular events and cellular events. So, which are the common features seen in vascular event? Mainly the hemodynamic changes. Initially, there is a transient vasoconstriction of the arterioles, then followed by progressive vasodilatation, elevation of local hydrostatic pressure, stasis and leukocyte migration. Lewis has done an experiment, it is known as a triple response or red line response, in which we can see there is a by scratching with a pencil in the forearm of the person will leads to the redness, wheal formation and flare. That is because of the all vascular events. So main cause of altered vascular permeability, it is a Stirling's hypothesis, which states that the force that cause outward movement of fluid from microcirculation because of the intravascular hydrostatic pressure. So initially there is a contraction of endothelial cells followed by retraction of endothelial cells, then direct injury to endothelial cells and endothelial injury mediated by leukocyte adherence and leakiness in neovascularization. So vascular events is followed by a cellular events, which includes the exudation of leukocytes and phagocytosis. So in this photograph we can see initially there is a normal blood flow, then followed by the margination of the cells, then rolling and adhesion of the leukocytes and followed by the leukocyte transmigration. What is phagocytosis? Phagocytosis is defined as the presence of engulfment of solid particles or material by a cell, and cells performing these functions are called phagocytes. There are two main types of phagocytic cells. One are the polymorphonuclear neutrophils and second are the macrophages. So this is a photograph showing the process of phagocytosis, in which we can see this is a bacteria which is engulfed by these phagocytic cells, and they are taken by the phagocytic cells and ultimately digestion of this bacteria. So it includes mainly three steps. First step is the recognition and attachment, second is the engulfment, and third is the killing and degradation. Now coming to chronic inflammation, it is an inflammation of long duration in which active inflammation, tissue destruction and repair occurs simultaneously. So it is a triad in which there is a inflammation, tissue destruction and repair. So what is the difference between acute and chronic inflammation? In acute inflammation, mainly the vascular changes like edema, predominantly neutrophilic infiltration, and while in case of chronic inflammation, there is an infiltration by mononuclear cells or macrophages along with tissue destruction and followed by a repair of the tissue. So this is a photograph of chronic inflammation in which we can see there is a infiltration of chronic inflammatory infiltrate, which mainly include lymphocyte and plasma cells, while in case of acute inflammation, neutrophilic infiltration. This is a photograph showing a chronic cervicitis in which we can see there is an infiltration by a chronic lymphocyte. This is also a photograph of chronic inflammation in case of rheumatoid arthritis. There is an infiltration by a chronic inflammatory cells. Now coming to the healing. What is the healing of inflammation? Healing of inflammation involves the growth of capillaries and fibroblast growth, which leads to granulation tissue formation. This is a photograph of acute myocardial infarction in which we can see there is a granulation tissue formation. This is a biopsy from the skin showing a surface reepithelialization, and below there is a granulation tissue formation which includes a proliferation of small capillaries and fibroblasts forming collagen. Now coming to a special type of chronic inflammation which is known as a granulomatous inflammation. In case of granulomatous inflammation, there is a granuloma formation. What is a granuloma? It is a focus of chronic inflammation which consists of microscopic aggregation of macrophages that are transformed into epithelioid-like cells. They look like epithelium, so they are known as the epithelioid cells, along with the mononuclear leukocyte, which includes lymphocytes and occasionally plasma cells. In case of older granuloma, there is a ream of sclerosis or ream of fibroblast may be formed. And occasionally these epithelioid cells, they fuse with each other and form a giant cells, and these giant cells may contain many nuclei and they are larger in size. Mainly there are two types of giant cells. One is a Langerhans type of giant cells and another is a foreign body type of giant cells. When the nuclei are arranged peripherally, they are known as a Langerhans type of giant cells, and when they arrange haphazardly, they are known as a foreign body type of giant cell. Now coming to wound healing. Wound healing means healing of the skin wounds. It is a classical example of combination of regeneration and repair. Wound healing can be accomplished by two ways: healing by a first intention, which is also known as a primary union, and healing by a secondary intention, that is known as a secondary union. Healing by first intention, it is defined as a healing of wound which has following characteristic. The wound should be clean and uninfected, surgically incised, and without much loss of cells and tissue, and ages of wounds are approximately by surgical sutures. So this photograph shows the healing by a first intention, in which there is a mainly surgical and clean wound. So the surface would have a less loss of tissue, and it is followed by granulation tissue formation and collagenization. Healing by a secondary intention. This is defined as a healing of wound having following characteristic. It is open with a large tissue defect which is sometimes infected, having an excessive loss of cells and tissue, and the wound is not approximated by surgical sutures but left open. So this is a photograph of healing by a secondary union, in which we can see there is a large loss of tissue. So it is filled by blood clot, and ultimately there is a collagenous scar formation. This is a photograph which shows the bone healing. In bone, the same way of healing, but there is a cartilaginous formation. So initially, in first phase, there is a hematoma followed by granulation tissue, then procallus, which includes cartilaginous formation, then osseous callus